Hey guys, welcome to the live. Hi Tony. Hey Marsha, Robert, Nancy. Hi everyone. I hope everyone's having an awesome, fun weekend. Hey Jim. Jim says still morning in Arizona. Well, good morning. So, hey Tom. Hey guys. Well, so the topic today, fighting for peace. Let's go. So yeah, well, it turned out to be very fitting because well, the energies are very intense in the world, okay? See, the thing is, humanity has decided to evolve out of this, evolve out of the old paradigm, okay? But of course, when you decide to open your heart, come back to the heart, so everything comes to the surface and the ego starts to go crazy. So that's really what's happening right now. And what will honestly continue to happen is more stuff coming to the surface. And that's where we see the chaos and everything happening in the world. See, I can see Valnik already. He's showing me the news and he's giving me a remote. Turn it off. But I'll explain why he says that. It's because these things are all outside of you, okay? And they can only they can only come into your field. They can only be about you, affect you really, unless you give them energy. Okay, so that's really what the news is. Whether it doesn't matter the source, it doesn't matter who it's from, Newsweek or Newsmax or whoever. It's mass consciousness. It's a way. See, the news can only exist if you give it energy, if you give it life. Okay, and why would you do that? Everybody has an internal compass. Okay, and it's interesting because even see, there was this movement, the Patriot movement, which was awesome. Okay, but it turned out because it's from the mind, so wash, rinse, repeat. There's so much in the subconscious. It still followed the same patterns if you look at it from a higher level where there's a problem, right? And people tune into the information and it's fear-based still. So it's still created from mass consciousness, okay? So it's still the same, humanity made it into the same thing as the news where everyone's looking for the truth, right? So people, whether you're aware of the Patriot movement, the normies, so to speak, they look on the news for the truth. And then the truther community looks to the truther community or whoever posts videos for the truth, right? And it's fear and it's made up of mass consciousness. And it can only exist if you give it life. So all of that is outside of you and has nothing to do with you or myself unless we give it life. So that's really the paradigm that humanity is evolving into, is we are the creators. We're the ones we're giving all of this energy, okay, including the war. So wars cannot happen. See, they have to get people to buy into it, okay, both sides, whether you're perceived as the bad guy, okay, so each country, right, believes they are the good guy, first of all, okay, on both sides. It's a pattern we've talked about for a while, right? So Israel, the United States, whoever, they believe they are the good guys, right? And then there's the perceived bad guys. And that justifies, because they're fighting for the greater good, fighting for peace, which is interesting. Why would you need to fight for peace? Because you're just fighting. And then they go in and they do whatever they do to the bad guys, and it justifies they're justifying it to themselves, okay? They're the good ones, so whatever they do, whatever they do that's out of alignment with their own integrity, they are doing it for the greater good, and then it's okay. And the bad guys on the other side believe, of course, that they are the good guys, and that justifies the means, and then it's back and forth forever. This is a pattern that's been going on for eons. And this is what humanity is dropping right here, right now. So it's still, because there's so many that still buy into the matrix, the old paradigm, that's why the wars are still happening. Okay, so the belief that someone outside of you has power over you, the belief that someone can harm you, that you can be threatened, that you are the body, that you are the mind, and that of course is vulnerable, but you are not. You are eternal. So all of this stuff, the old paradigm, that's what's in mass consciousness. That's what's in the news. It's in the thought waves. Okay, I don't watch the news or anything like that, but my mind is scanning around me and picks up on thoughts and brings it to me and asks me, is this true? And I tune into myself and no. So that's really what's going on. The more people that step out, the more that will dissolve, and that the matrix will dissolve, and then the wars won't happen anymore because no one will buy into them. You have to get the people's support. You have to get people to buy into that they can be harmed, that they are vulnerable, and they need a power greater than themselves, perceptively, to protect them, to defend them. That's what keeps the whole thing going. If you tuned in to soldiers, or maybe some of you have been soldiers or know soldiers, or have been one at one point in a past lifetime or whatever, none of them enjoy fighting, none of them enjoyed killing. So why would we keep doing it? Why would they keep doing it? The more people who open up their hearts, the less people will join the military the way it is right now, right? So it's one person stepping out, and then another person has the courage to step out, and then another person, and then the government, the military, starts to make and recreate itself in our likeness and image. Instead of having this, I've called it the black goo, other people have called it the black goo in the past, it's mass consciousness. Instead of having this beast full of thoughts and opinions and fear propaganda projected onto us, and we're giving it energy, it will be the other way around. So we're bringing our higher levels in, and then those organizations, they're not governing us, they're just a reflection of who we are. We're leading from the heart, and that's something that Valnek and I talked about in our second book. So it's about leading from the heart. I can see he says they are afraid not to fight. He says tell them the truth. He's pointing to his heart, and he's putting the weapon down. He says, if I can put the weapon down, so can you. uh, I'm laughing at Valnek because in his prime, he was quite a warrior. So he says, nothing that I brag about. He says, I know who I am. He's pointing to his heart. So yeah, because see, there's another part of this too, where it's the, hey Jonelle, hi Heather, it's the love and light paradigm, right? So that's another program from the mind. So, and it's from judgment. Let me explain this. So war is bad, killing is bad. Do you hear the judgment in it? Fighting is bad, judging people is bad, even though you're still judging by calling it bad. And so I'm going to do this, and this is good, and we're all love and light, and no fighting, and everything is peace, and blah, blah, blah. That's still from the mind, trying to convince yourself, trying to make a story out of it. So these things are bad, and everything over here is good. And this is where I'm going to exist, playing my harp. And it's running away from it. It's burying your head in the sand. And I can understand why people perceive that to be inauthentic, because it is. Okay, so it's not about perceiving this is the bad way to live, this is the good way to live. It's about when you come back to the heart, this is what I enjoy. Okay, so not coming from a place of judgment where killing people is bad, but coming from a place of I don't enjoy killing people, so therefore I don't do it. There's a difference, right? And I'm just gonna, then the love and light perspective is, well, I'm just gonna love everyone and blah, 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 and be nice to everyone. And everyone loves everyone. That's a given. So, so, uh, so it's about what do I most enjoy? And most people, when you tune into humanity, absolutely nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants a war. So can we do something differently? So so the solutions, okay, it's if somebody, this will be interesting. Let me get a drink while I can find a example. So when somebody threatens you, okay, whether it's physically or, because Valnick and I, our entourage, we want to show people a different way. So it doesn't mean when you're coming from the heart, if somebody throws all this energy at you, if they attack you, that you just say, oh, whatever, I love you, and blah, blah, blah. No, it's actually the opposite. I know who I am who I am, and nothing you can do or say will ever harm me. So I'm not playing your game anymore. Okay? And that just takes the energy right out of it. If you do the love and light thing, you're still coming from the mind, coming from the ego, and you're still buying into it, playing the game back and forth. You're playing the good guy, the part of the good guy. So why would you be the good guy when you can be the creator instead? So, so when somebody threatens you, either physically or, yeah, verbally, first of all, it's coming into your experience because there's something in the subconscious that is still buying into the idea or the perception that someone or something can hurt you. So you bring it in, your higher levels bring it in for you to transcend, okay? Not for you to play the game, not for you to just choose love and everything is fairies and unicorns, although I love both, okay? But your higher levels are bringing that in for you to take a look at, for you to transcend the fear, not to give into it and not to play the game, okay? So when someone threatens you, whether it's physically okay, and this has happened to me before actually. So instead, when somebody physically attacks you, instead of going, and it works, okay, I speak from experience, it's actually really cool. So if somebody physically attacks you, instead of going into fear and making a story about it and going into fight or flight, if you call in your higher levels, call into your entourage and stay in alignment with yourself, it's like energetically their frequency is not compatible. Okay? So literally you're not playing the game, and it shifts something where the perceptive predator is not getting what they want out of it, and so it becomes boring to them in a way, so they give up and they go find somebody else to play with. So a predator needs to, first of all, they induce fear to see if you're going to move out of alignment with yourself and then play the game of being a prey. Okay, so the predator's always looking for prey. And if it doesn't have any prey to play with, is if one person steps out, another person steps out, another person steps out, what you're doing is you're giving the predator an opportunity to say, hey, I'm not getting the energy that I need. I'm not getting it from other people. I can't convince anyone that I am bigger and I am stronger than them. So what else can I do? And the answer is to look within. And can you see how that dissolves their ego complex when nobody plays the game with them anymore? How it, not that it forces them to do anything because you can't force anyone to do anything. But when there's no one else to play the game with, it gets very boring, right? Then you really truly feel all alone. And then you start really looking for home and asking those questions. Why am I doing what I'm doing? So the more people, and it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. This is for yourself. It can happen as fast as you want it to. Okay. The body, the mind, it can't happen overnight, because if you bring in all your higher levels at once, the body will explode. The mind is a computer. It won't be able to uh, handle it. Okay. So that's why it happens more slowly than that. So you can evolve you're evolving individually as fast as you want to. Okay. But for humanity as a whole, this is a process that will take, well, yeah, I mean, it's not set in stone. Okay. So it depends on how fast people wake up. But it's, yeah, when I tune into it, there's different possibilities. Okay. But still, we're at the point where the old paradigm is still strong and the new paradigm is overlapping, and they're coexisting in the same reality. Okay. But eventually, as one by one step out, then the old one will fade away, and that's when we create new earth. So um I'm having a conversation with Val next, so it's because he can be very corny. He said welcome to the future. So uh anyways, so that's the different way. So instead of, because the more you look outside of yourself, so the further you look, so a war going on in this country, that country, everything, the more you look outside of yourself, the more you're avoiding stuff that's going on in your immediate reality, like with your relationships, your spouse, your family, the more you're avoiding your own trauma. So instead, or decisions, judgments, and beliefs. So instead of focusing on all of that stuff outside of you that we have no control over, okay? So I'm not the commander in chief. You're not the commander in chief, right? So, but what we can do is take a look at our energy, the stuff that we've been giving energy to, the stuff that we've created that is adding to that old paradigm and keeping it alive. So if you don't want war, if you understand that fighting for peace doesn't make sense, okay, then the way to change it is to come back to the heart, to take a look at that stuff that you've been avoiding or that has been coming up within yourself, okay? And your entourage, your higher levels are there with you. So excited. So excited. That's why we're all here, to bring in the new paradigm, to bring heaven to earth, okay? But it starts there by you changing, making changes in your own life, and then that's one more creator that is not creating the old paradigm and keeping it alive. So those are yeah, those are the options. That's the different way that we're paving the way. And what I meant to say a few sentences ago, which I didn't, is that it's still very few people stepping out of the old paradigm. Okay. So, but there will be more as time goes on. So really, those who are interested in what I'm saying right here, right now, are the ones that are opening their hearts. Okay. And more other public figures sharing from the heart, and those dear ones are tuning into what they're saying. Okay. See, there's so much more that is possible than what is you see with your own two eyes and you see in your external reality. Okay. So Jonelle says, would the Galactic Federation disarm nukes if they were launched? I thought that was mentioned in your books. So it's interesting because there's nobody has any proof that there really are any nuclear weapons, okay? So that's the thing. When you see, I realized very quickly that even so, what Trump says, what this person says, what people from the government says, it's all, Valnick says, the art of war. He says an old game, and he's showing me a crap, I can't think of the word, a chess table and moving a chess piece. He's saying the old game is finished. He says we are coming back to the heart. There is a different way. So, but what I was saying is I learned very quickly that, yeah, it's based on deception. So everything that the military does, everything that the government says, even though they perceive themselves, and I'm not saying they're not in alignment with integrity, they perceive themselves to be the good guys or the white hats. It's still, the military does not reveal. I did watch an interview Trump did, just to give you an example, and they asked him something about Iran, you know, do you have plans for this? And he laughed at them and said, do you really expect me to tell you my plans? Like, why would I do that? And he's exactly right. That's just how the military works. So are there even nuclear weapons to disarm? Actually, let's, because see, they make things about certain things so that they can get what they want. Okay, there's different layers. And it doesn't mean that one side isn't more open, more in alignment with integrity. Okay, it doesn't mean that. It's just that these dear ones still have egos. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the positions that the roles that they're playing. Okay, for myself, you can't get me to play a role because I am who I am. Why would I want to be anyone differently? You know, I wouldn't go out and try to be president, vice president, or anything, because in order to get elected, you still have to say, you can't be who you are, because people are still absorbed in the matrix. So in order to get their vote, you still have to have a foot in it. And I'm not willing to do that. So it's just, anyways, so where I was going with that is let's tune in if there even are nukes to disarm. And let's bring in our higher levels, let's bring in our entourage and so putting all of the energy that is not you outside of you. And this is where stuff gets really fun. And this is also why I stopped doing Q&As. Valnick and I stopped doing Q&As the way we were doing them because, well, for myself, for him, for our entourage, it's more fun to do them this way. And again, what you see in your reality, it's just hoopla. And it's there for those who are still finding their way home. That's their way of finding their way home, is outside of themselves. Eventually, all roads lead to Rome. They lead home. But we're here to usher in the new paradigm. So let's bring our higher levels. Let's bring in our entourage. And let's put everything outside of us. Okay. And moving your focus as much as possible from in between the eyebrows down into the heart chakra. And let's ask our entourage, so are there nukes to disarm? And I'll let you know what I get, and then I'll let you know. Yeah, but I'll let you guys go first. So just let me know in the chat. Heather says, I feel like no. Not that I even care. Marcia says, I received a no. Robert says no. Brenda says no. So I also so I also get a no. Okay. So it's, see, these, Kim says no. So everyone says no. So isn't it interesting? So do we need the news at all? Do we need even the truther community? Do we need, see these dear ones that are playing roles, okay? It's like I said, they still, part of them has bought into the old paradigm, okay? So and it wouldn't be, so Donald Trump, for example, it wouldn't be expansive for him if he didn't have anything to get out of, okay, of it. So meaning he's there, he's playing the role because he benefits from it, and also the planet benefits from it. And what I mean by that is for his higher levels, for him, see, he's finding out who he is too, okay? So by playing this role, that's why really people play roles. So whether it's, you put on a costume, right? So you're, perceive yourself to be a firefighter, a doctor, it's your identity, okay? Or you believe that it is. And that's really why you're doing it, to find out more about yourself. And that's, he is doing the same, okay? Otherwise he wouldn't be doing it. So for myself, for Valnek, for many of you, we've worked together in the group Q&As, have been king of the world. So it's not, well, I've done it, so I don't enjoy it, right? So, but he is doing his best, okay? It's just that there are ego games played back and forth. That's why the ego, when you're playing the game, it's chaotic, it's war, it's life or death, okay? And that's really what's going on here. And the surface of it is made about, see, because they have to get people into fear, make people buy into it, get people to buy into it. Make it about weapons and whatever, but there's many, many layers to it. He said, Valnek says, I've said many times, the art of war, an old game. He says, we are moving on. He's showing me a ship, and then he's showing me planet Earth. He's showing me a rainbow. He says, the golden age. He's showing me of America, and he's crossing out America again, and he says, planet Earth. So this is really about all of us, not just America winning or America first. It's about all of us coming together, okay? So Robert says, yeah, see, isn't that awesome? Everybody got a no. So Robert says, when you say turn off the TV, that includes social media, I presume all of it. Yeah, I mean, if you get something out of it, then awesome, okay? But is it you as yourself, in yourself, and through yourself? Or is it the mind wandering and then going off into the ethers and picking up on the ego, and the ego wanting to, is it coming from the ego? So again, where is this thought coming from? And why am I doing what I'm doing? So if for myself in the past, social media was a distraction from myself. Okay, so, and then I realized that, and then I was just like, meh. I still go on it sometimes, like mostly if I want to see horse stuff or like riding techniques or something like that. That's stuff that I as myself am genuinely interested in. Okay. But 99% of it is made up of mass consciousness and people pulling on your energy field, trying to get you to buy into things. Okay. That's why there's so many videos, so much to choose from. when you tune into it, it's just for yourself to tune into. Is it people bringing in their creator consciousness and then broadcasting it to everyone as a possibility for them to open their hearts? Okay? Or is it someone whose ego is in the way and their ego is trying to get attention and they want some of your energy because they're not aware of why they're doing what they're doing and they're looking outward for love? So it's just, why am I doing what I'm doing with anything? Robert says, this mass consciousness goes around in circles, never going anywhere, I feel. Exactly. It's the hamster wheel. Wash, rinse, repeat. Let me get a drink. And it has been going on for eons. Okay, so Valnik is showing me ancient Egypt and the pyramids. He says the same game. He says time to change. He's flipping a coin and he's showing me a head. He says time to look forward. I'm just trying to tune into what he meant, what he's saying. He keeps showing me the pyramids again. I see. It's about money, sex, power, greed. Okay, so it's the same game over and over and over again. And there's a component to it. See how these... One of the things that keeps... I'm just reading his mind. One of the things that... Oh, he makes me laugh. He has a tinfoil hat on his head. One of the things that keeps the old power structure in place, and we've talked about it many times, and this is interesting. I did see this. I've seen it in Trump's speeches. I've seen it in other people's speeches, is they always bring it back to God. So we kill these people for the good of these other people, and we're doing God's will. Well, why would God choose between one group of people or another? So, and if so, if that's the case, is that a God that you want to follow? One that picks and chooses, one that comes from judgment. These people are better than the other, so bomb these people in my name because I am trying to protect, I love these people. So it's the perception of who God is. It's what humans have made out of it. It's judgment. So, but this has been going on for eons. Valnik is reminding me, ancient Egypt and the pyramids was not an advanced society, okay? The pharaohs were in touch with extraterrestrials that made them believe they were the chosen ones in a way where they're better than others, okay? And the rest of the people are somehow less than, not good enough, okay? And then you have all of these people underneath them trying to do the will of the chosen one so that they can get salvation, they can get a divine connection, or somehow get some love from this God, okay? And this is what's in mass consciousness, okay? God is within you, God is within me. I am no better than you, you are no better than me or less than, okay? I am my own unique being, you are your own unique being. And we're all part of the same source, but our own unique aspect. Okay, so I am my connection to the divine, and so are you. You have your own connection. But this is really where people started to buy into that they need a savior figure, and it's tied in with, of course, the government as well. And if you're not for us, you're against us, and we're the chosen we have the true chosen ones, so then we're the chosen people because we're the followers, and then that justifies anything we do to anybody outside of us. So, and it's it's the God of judgment. It's an ego construct that humanity has made up, okay? And it's time that's why coming back to the heart can be, well, it is awesome because that dissolves all of that illusion. That's completely and totally from the mind. Okay? So it's yeah, I'm just tuning into it to see if there's anything else I have to say about it. So, and it's the same story over and over and over again. I can see my entourage showing me movie clips. So, Valnick says different costumes, different people, different time period, same story, and he's underlining it. So, and it's still the same story going on today, except this time it's changing and there's an opportunity for us to open up and come back to the heart. And humanity has decided already, okay, it's reached critical mass where enough people have said enough is enough. That's why everything has been so crazy since 2020, and everyone's really opened up still, of course, buying into the matrix, but really starting to bring in their higher levels. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch. So I find it very exciting. So yeah, let me get some questions from the chat. Belnick says there is more he has to say. He is, yeah, he's going into more detail about the work that we've done together, the work that humanity is wanting to do, and some are doing with us right now. So he wants me to explain more in depth, yeah, about what's going on, why people see things the way that they do. And let me explain, because it's yeah, one day I hope to have a mind that can well, it does its best, but see, the easiest way for the creator to communicate is energetically, because the mind is so small. So trying to stuff yourself into the mind, or even the mind trying to translate the creator, it will always fall short, because the mind is about limiting things and making things smaller. And the creator is so big and eternal. So it's, anyways, it's a fun thing. So let me explain. So this, why humanity is different from the animals as well. So the animals don't have these issues, right? So they don't have these perceptions of feeling alone, being alone. When people go to animal shelters, what they're doing is they're projecting their own subconscious, their own judgment, their own programming that is in their mind externally and onto the animals, and making it a story about how the animals are victims and they need to be saved. This is all a story that humanity has bought into, has made up. This is part of mass consciousness, okay? And it's the animals, they know exactly who they are. They're completely in alignment with their higher levels, and they and they're having lots of fun. So, but humanity is different. And a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group. Okay, the human body, the mind is awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, what has happened, and this is really the new paradigm, this is really what we always intended it to be, so, or life to be. Earth is like a playground, okay? So what happened is, because I am omnipresent, you are omnipresent, we are so big, the mind cannot even conceive it, okay? And there's only so much of you that can fit in the body, okay? Otherwise, if all of you came into the body would explode. So with humanity, it's making yourself from there's a part of you that makes a part of you, you're a very high vibration, okay? In order to come into a body, you have to lower your vibration, and then a part of you comes in, and ideally, you, instead of buying into the ego, okay, which humanity has done, I'll explain in a minute. So part of you comes into the body, and as the body grows, you stay in tune with your higher levels, and you bring more and more and more of your creator consciousness into the body, okay? And then the body becomes enlightened. Of course, you are already the light, so you cannot become enlightened because you are light, but the body becomes enlightened. And then you are yourself, okay, consciously creating your experience, connected to yourself, the rest of yourself, your higher levels. This is the mind. Again, it's hard to explain because the mind is so limiting, okay? But what humanity has done is created the perception. So by going into the mind, and the body has a fight or flight response, okay? So the ego, so that you don't just step off a bridge or step in front of a car, it has that thought there, because if it wasn't there, you could just feel like you could do anything. But then the body would only last so long, and then we'd have to keep starting over and over again. So the ego actually serves creation and creator. That's why it's there. But what humanity has done is bought into it, made it identified with it. So believing that you are fear, trying to, going into the mind, going into judgment, okay? And that's what has made the ego bigger and bigger and bigger, and has created this. And then, of course, one person does that, another person does that, and before you know it, millions of humans are doing that. And that's the way that society is. And that's really what mass consciousness is this everyone's egos together, this belief that the power is outside of you, or you're following this energy, unaware that you created it, that you are the creator, that you've come into a body and put all of this energy outside of yourself, and believing that it has power over you. And this is where the construct of God has come in. So what humanity has perceived to be God is actually their egos, and then following God into war and destroying each other. It's really interesting when you look at it from a higher level. So in this perception, because you come in, you lower your vibration, and you make yourself, there's smaller in a way, it creates this perception that you're disconnected from the rest of yourself, okay? And instead of looking inward, humanity has looked outside of themselves for so long, which has created this ego construct, the concept of God, the chosen one, mass consciousness, all of that. So that's where we're taking ourselves, our energy out of that, and coming back to the heart and bringing our higher levels in. And that's where life gets really fun. So, well, I'm just full of words today. So let me look at some of the questions in the chat. Oh, 10, there's a few more. So Lisa said, I can't imagine that war could possibly be the way home, but the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing, comes to mind. Where would the world be, for example, if Nazi Germany was not fought against? It's Interesting. So that's a recent, let me get a drink before I answer. So that's a recent example of something that humanity has been going through for a long time, right? So genocide, again, I probably can't say that word, or it might be shadow banned, but whatever. The World War II Germans, okay, they believe they're the chosen ones. They know what's best for everyone. They're going to kill these people in the name of God or the higher power or whatever. It's been going on for eons. So, again, these people, because of their body, their skin color, where they're from, are better than these people. And what we do to them is justified because we're the chosen ones or we're better than you. So that's a pattern that has been created over and over and over again for eons. It's just World War II Germany, that's a recent example. So, and I explained in the beginning of the live, so that would not be able to happen if people did not buy into the predator and the prey game. The victim, the villain, the hero complex. Okay, so enough people have to play the game in order for that to manifest in this reality, right? And there's many soldiers that were, I don't want to, the word regret is not the best word that I'm looking for, but they felt when they were doing what they were doing, it was not in alignment with their hearts. Okay, so and if they followed their hearts, and if enough of them said no more, or if at least one just for themselves said no more and put the weapon down, it would be one less person, one less creator giving energy to something that doesn't serve anyone, really. See, what's in the best and highest for you, for me, is in the best and highest for everyone concerned. So the creator doesn't work against each other. So it's not, there's what's in the best and highest for me is not in the best and highest for you. I follow my heart, and by following my heart, it energetically serves everybody else. Okay, it cannot, it's not possible to come from the heart and it hurt other people. Okay, so again, it's just another example of people buying into it. And there's many who had lifetimes during that period that transcended it. Okay, and their bodies may have perished, but they're eternal. Okay, that's also part of it. So okay, I am who I am. I don't buy into that you can hurt me, that you can harm me. I know who I am. And yeah, the body can be harmed, the mind can be harmed, but I cannot. And there's many that said that and they transcended it. And they're back today in the here and now, and they're not playing those same games that others are still buying into they have yet to transcend. Does that make sense? So this is just the lifetime you're in. It's just one lifetime. It's like a blink of an eye. So when you are in touch with your higher levels, when you are yourself, you know that. So it's really hard to get someone that is in alignment with integrity to play those games. So let's see. Hi, Dustin. Robert says, I wonder, given AI's ability to mimic reality in text, video, and audio, can anything be believed that is seen or heard on social or legacy media? Well, AI is really a tool, right? And it can be used to project the truth so we can infuse our consciousness into AI. It depends on who's programming it, right? Or not, right? It can be used a different way. So it's really just a tool, just like the internet. Okay, so take AI out of it, You can post a video. If you have an agenda, then that's what it is about, right? So AI is just really a tool. Yeah, that's really all it is. And it's really, I'm trying to find the right words. It's about tuning into the energy behind something. So when you're presented with something, okay, so something comes into your awareness, okay, and it can be something from the internet. It can be just a random thought flying by that your mind brings to you. So the mind goes out, it scans the environment, and it picks up on thoughts and it brings them to you. Oftentimes they're from mass consciousness, okay, and they're fear-based. So it brings it to you, and you have the choice to say, yes, I'm giving my energy to it. Yes, that's true. Or no, it's not. So anything that is outside of you, whether it's from AI, whether it's from the news, whether it's from someone that you're just standing there talking to, see, that's energetically how things are created. So, and perceptions, beliefs, and judgments are created. So that's what I was saying earlier. Social media generally, it's people sharing their beliefs, and the heart is there, everything, the love is there, okay, but the ego is in the way. It has, most of the time, has an agenda, and they're presenting you with a belief, trying to get you to buy into it. So it's just, you tune in, is this true, is this not, and then you have your answer. But why would you give energy to anything outside of you? If it's from the heart, it doesn't pull on your energy field, it doesn't have an agenda. Whatever it is, that being knows who they are, so they have their own power, so they don't try to get it from you. There is no agenda. Do you see what I'm saying? So just like the animals or my June, June doesn't care who believes what. She's there shining her light, just being who she is. Actually, I believe I put her on the thumbnail. So she is who she is, and she's, just by being who she is, she's opening hearts. It's an energetic thing. No beliefs, no judgments, nothing to get people to buy into. Well, why would you want to believe anything anyways? What's the difference between believing and knowing? One is from the mind. It's, you buy into it and then your mind becomes programmed that way. Okay. That's how, like, cults, religion, mass consciousness, that's how all of it works. So you get people to believe that the sky is green, and then they start to believe that in their mind. The mind is programmed that way. That's why there's that saying, you cannot tell them, you must show them. But you really don't even have to show them. Just be who you are. So Robert says, I think we already covered that. Yeah, I don't know what part of that, my response, you're responding to. So let's see if there's Vanek says he has a message. He's showing me planet Earth. He says all is well. He says the supervisor has a message also. So he's showing me beams of light all around the planet. He says everyone is waking up. He's showing different world leaders. They're playing their roles. Okay, he's showing me a chess game. Everyone's playing their piece. And he's showing me the words, is this real? And he's pointing to his heart. He says, listen to your heart. He says, don't give in to fear. He's asking the question, is fear real? Where does it come from? So, and that's an interesting point. So I want to expand on that. So, to an eternal being, does fear exist? Is it real? Have you ever seen it? Or is it another construct of the mind? So it's just a question for yourselves to tune into. Valnick says fear is an illusion. What else would he like to say? He is thinking of something to say. I'm just tuning into him. People want hope, and his message is there is so much hope. Okay. And there's my friend, I've called him the supervisor, although he's neither mine nor Valnick's boss. But he's really there to work with everyone. Okay. They are omnipresent. Okay. Perhaps I have or know beings that are in an extraterrestrial body. Okay. But that's just the body. And that's only a small part of them that is in the body. It's their higher levels are omnipresent. Okay. So they are, Valnick says, the best of the best. And he's showing me the people of Earth lining up and ready to open their hearts. So they are really wanting to work with everyone. Okay, so everybody is welcome, no matter how far into the ego someone has gone. That's actually the most fun for our entourage, to have someone who has a very limited perspective decide to open up. It makes it more interesting. Okay, so they are really there to assist everyone. Valnick says not just the good guys, and he's winking because this is about all of humanity coming together and coming out of judgment. Okay, so everyone is growing, everyone is evolving. Of course, those who don't want to open their hearts, they will see the old paradigm is dissolving, so they will, not them, but their egos will dissolve with it. So how can we lose? Valnick says we win every day. Woo! So I have had a few people ask me if I am okay. There's a few people that have asked me that. Well, of course. How can someone not be okay? It's an interesting question, right? So, and I have had it too in the past, like, oh, my dog, my horse, I hope that they're okay. And is it coming? Is there fear behind it? So, and for myself, when I've asked those questions, it's not about seeing other people for who they are. That will come. It's about seeing yourself for who they are. So namaste, the light within me sees the light within you. Okay, so when we see ourselves, when we know who we are, then we recognize the light within others. And then the need to ask the question, are you okay? Well, it dissolves right with that fear complex, because how can the creator not be okay? It is the creator. Does that make sense? So, and I'm doing more than okay. So always I'm doing awesome. So, with that, I think we'll end here. Love you guys. I'll be back with more videos. Bye now.